Well, hello everybody, good evening and welcome to Broadwood Stadium here in Cumbernauld. And what I have to tell you has been a pretty dreich night so far in terms of the weather. Steady rain, but on the artificial surface, which you can see there on your picture, everything has been very good. We've got a Scotland under-20s against England under-20s game for you coming up in a few minutes. In just about 3 minutes to kick off. Let me run through the teams for you. First of all, my name is Bill Johnson. I'll be your match commentator tonight. And this Scotland team is one of the most experienced under-20 sides of recent years. 12 of the starting lineup have played at this age level before. The three new caps are Darcy Graham at 14 on the right wing, Adam Hastings at 10 and Hugh Fraser at 9. And alongside them in the three-quarters line are centres Rory Hutchinson, who'll be at 13, and Tom Galbraith at 12. Winger Robbie Nairn is on the left wing, wearing number 11. Up front, the side is captained by lock forward Scott Cummings, who has Glasgow Warriors experience already this season. McCallum wins his 9th cap at loose head, and he parks down alongside Jake Kerr and Callum Sheldon. The 6'7" of Andrew Davidson plays second row alongside Glasgow Hawks teammate Scott Cummings, and Cummings is a wee shorty, he's only 6'6". The back row contains pace and physicality. Jamie Ritchie wins his 14th cap at under-20s level, he's number 6. Matt Smith from the Hawks is number 7. Ali Miller from Melrose Rugby Club via George Watson's College is at number 8. There are the Scots guys and the English lads out on the field. We'll have a wee pause while we listen to the anthems, and then I'll be joined by Chris Patterson for the duration of tonight's match commentary. Well, as you might expect, that England side you saw in your picture a second or two ago, there they are off to the left. It's laced with players who've experienced senior rugby and who have already made their mark there. Full-back is Gloucester's Matt Prothero. There's a couple of flyers on the wings in the shape of Ollie Thorley and George Perkins. Thorley now wearing number 11, Perkins at 14. Keep an eye open for the skill and the speed of Joe Marchant, 13, and Charlie Thacker, who's wearing number 12. Joe Simmons and Max Green are the half-backs. There's a big beefy pack led by hooker Jack Walker in this his 18th under-20s cap. The locks are newcomers at under-20s level. Big Hugh Taylor and Stan South at 4 and 5. The back row of White, Bainbridge and Chick will no doubt provide and tackle with great effect throughout the match. Tonight's referee is an Irishman, Andrew Brace. But it's a Scotsman I've got sitting alongside me tonight. Chris Patterson, first man to over 100 caps in Scottish rugby. And Chris, this is a big time for these guys, with England last year's Six Nations Under-20s champions.
Yeah, good evening, Bill. Good evening, everyone. This is a big moment. It's as big as it comes for these lads. Under-20s, it's just a small step from there to full international rugby. We've seen it recent years with Stuart Hogg, Johnny Gray, Mark Bennett, players on the Scotland side, but also Henry Slade, George Ford, Owen Farrell, all come through this system. And Jack Clifford on the bench tomorrow at BT Murrayfield obviously was just playing here not too long ago. So I'm looking forward to this. An exciting game on a fantastic surface. And let's see how the boys go.
Of the 11 games played in this fixture between Scotland and England at under-20s level, England have won all 11. The Scots have won none. There's the kick-off then by the Scots, picked up right away by Joe Simmons for England. And there's the beef of that big English pack piling in right away. Max Green, nice wee service out to the far side to his back row boys. All very methodical and well coached and well trained. Lovely artificial surface here, of course, at Cumbernauld. Here's young Adam Hastings with a chance here for Darcy Graham. He comes from the famous Hawick club down in the Scottish borders. There's Hugh Fraser with the ball at scrum half. Taken on by Scott Cummings, the big lad who plays for Glasgow Hawks and has played for Glasgow professionally. Nice drive by Jake Kerr. Boroughmuir lad, Scotland under-20 cap on a couple of previous occasions. This is going to be a very interesting encounter as these teams try to size each other up and suss out this relative strengths and weaknesses, Chris.
Yeah, it's a good phase of possession for Scotland, but also very well matched by the English defence. The white wall, the English army, as you can see, they're only committing one to the breakdown and on their feet, but Jamie Ritchie gets a lovely pass away to Rory Hutchinson, and Scotland maintain possession.
Some big units out there with, Will Stewart, who's on the tight head for England, is 19 stones plus. Callum Sheldon on the tight head for Scotland. Both of these lads wearing number 3. He's another 19 stoner. They are big units. You do have to wonder who pays their grocery bill.
Yeah, they're certainly fully professional in the way they prepare and the way they train, and look forward to these games. Big night for all these young lads. It's Jack Walker setting an early example for England. Quality defence, and he managed to get himself over the top of the ball and win the penalty. Scotland penalised for holding on, and a great kick from Simmons gives England territory, and the throw into the line out. First line out, big nerves obviously for Jack Walker, but he's captain. His older brother also captain England under-20s, playing for Yorkshire Carnegie. An experienced player. Let's see, cut to a short line out, and we'll see what happens with this one.
Walker, the captain, with the throw. Up go the jumpers, well knocked back there by South and by Taylor, the two English locks. This is just outside the Scottish 22. England work it back this way. Taylor again, lovely hand off there to Stan South. This big lad from the Quins in his first English cap there, making good headway. What a thumping tackle there by the Scots. That looked like Matt Smith there. Simmons, lovely hands. Thacker, lovely, beautifully lobbed pass. Here goes Prothero. Good attack by England up that left flank. See what they do with this one. There's a Bainbridge taking it on. Big Josh Bainbridge, Yorkshire Carnegie player. And Simmons all cool and calm. This young lad from Exeter and from Taunton at standoff for England under-20s tonight. Oops. That was a bit of a high tackle. That was a chance there for Rory Hutchinson trying to break up the side. And tonight's referee, Andrew Brace of Ireland, whom I mentioned a minute or two ago before kick-off, just making sure that all the tackles are quite legit.
Yeah, it's one the referees are hot on, and quite rightly so. Any tackle above shoulder level, in around head height, no matter how passive the tackle is, whether it's a swinging arm or whether it's just like that where it slid up in around the head area of Rory Hutchinson, will be penalised. And Blair Kinghorn finds a safe touch. He's had 8 appearances for Edinburgh Rugby. Blair Kinghorn can play standoff as well, but he's at full back tonight, and he'll be looking for a big impact, one of the more senior players in the Scotland side.
So they've played something like 8 minutes in the first half here at Broadwood. And a warm welcome to those of you who have just joined us on this Scottish Rugby live stream coverage of the Under-20s International. I know that the women's game, which was on just a couple of hours before this transmission, had listeners as far away as Africa and in Europe and all over the place. It really is amazing, the coverage. That was a lovely wee move there by Hastings at 10. Chance here for the Scots, moving it out to the right wing to Graham. England did well to stymie that, and that is Ollie Thorley, number 11 on the faraway left flank. Beautiful hands there by Simmons, just for a dipping pass. Kinghorn comes across, this big lanky lad who's been playing professional rugby for Edinburgh this season. Big Blair Kinghorn, there he is, number 15 in the back of that blue jersey. Big lad, 6'4", 15 stones. And he's played several times, 8 times this season for Edinburgh already, and a lad with a real future in front of, well, obviously a future in front of him, but a good professional rugby future.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very comfortable with the ball. He's equally adept at playing standoff. He's a good goal kicker as well. But I was impressed with England there. The one, the turnover, the game was in there, well managed, with a lovely kick through for Joe Simmons, well chased by Archie White, and they're controlling the territory at the moment, are the English lads.
That's the Scottish 22 just behind the feet of the Scots back there, who are trying to drive this English maul back before it gets set. Artificial surface here at Broadwood in Cumbernauld in Lanarkshire. Good counter drive by the Scots. Green, out it goes along the line, missing out his standoff that time, but taken up by Thacker. Scots having to do the tackling as England drive forward. There's Hugh Taylor. Big lock forward from Worcester, taking it on. Getting his hands on the ball at last. And some good running there by the English threes, but the Scots, I think, possibly, were they offside there, Chris?
Yeah, I think they're slow to roll away. Get to your feet. Is it hands on the floor over the top ball? I think it may have been Adam Hastings that the standoff as Jack Walker instructs the referee Andrew Bays that we're going to have a shot at goal. I think it was actually a good line out from England, well won at the tail and then driven, but a great counter drive from Scotland stopped that momentum. But as they peeled into the midfield, I think it was Adam Hastings who were penalised for not rolling away quick enough, allowing quick play of the ball. And Simmons, that's his first opportunity. These guys are more than happy on the artificial surface. Obviously older guys of my generation, we trained on it, we didn't play matches on it, but there's a lot of clubs will train full time on it and play often on it, so it won't be anything new for these guys to be goal kicking off the artificial surface. The tee sits a little bit higher, but they'll know exactly what to expect.
Here then is Joe Simmons. With this kick, as you can see, it's about 30 metres or thereabouts. Just a wee delicate chip as he got the direction. He's got height and he's got distance, and that is over, and that puts England ahead. So that scoreline will change in just a second to show Scotland 0, England 3, as Joe Simmons adds the first points.
Very casually stroked over, wasn't it, by Joe Simmons? He looks an accomplished player, and if he's obviously down involved at Exeter Chiefs, he's got two pretty good role models in Stevenson and Henry Slade when he plays in there as well, as role models to guide by. But he looks really comfortable in that position, dictating play, and there's absolutely no nerve shown there at all with a lovely strike through the middle. So England get off to.
I have a note here that, sorry Chris, that young Simmons kicked 9 out of 9 for Exeter on his debut last year against Bath. That's not a bad start in the big boys league. No,
you can see that. You can see the class and almost the composure he has with that first strike as well. Good player.
Scotland get the game underway again. Graham on the far side. Quick engagement there by England. And then the whistling pass by Hugh Fraser. They've played something like 11 minutes in the first half here at Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. The take on by Cummings. Kind of wild distribution there. The ball a wee bit wet tonight. It's artificial surface, but there has been quite steady rain. Again, lovely service there off the left hand by Max Green. Knocked on first by Scotland, says Andrew Brace, tonight's referee.
Yeah, good defence there from Scotland. Darcy Graham getting over the ball. trying to win the penalty, but the knock-on had been committed already. I think it was Andrew Davidson and secondly Matt Smith. But it comes from pressure from the English defence. If we watch, especially when we get a view of a wide view of the Scotland attack, England are not committing many Blairs to the breakdown at all. They're on their feet, they're in a strong line, which gives them the ability to come up really quick and shut down the Scotland attack. The way around that for an attacker is to look at the short side, or what we used to call the blind side, because you can maybe steal 2 or 3 yards down the blind side. So it'll be an interesting tactic to see if Scotland or indeed England in that sense pick it up by attacking the short side to take some sting out of the defence, especially early on.
Strong English scrum. Oh, that's got the Scots on retreat a wee bit. Callum Sheldon on this side, and a bit of bother there from Tom West. Lovely out the back of the hand offload, and a wee silky run by Matt Prothero there. Full back for England under 20s. Prothero again. Infield it goes. Or did the referee see that time? Scots offside?
Yeah, is he going back for the scrum penalty? It was an impressive scrum from England. Actually really good to see a pure scrummage. Scottish guys, the engage was good. There was that fraction of a second where it became a real pushing contest as a scrum should be, and then England got the drive going. But a good clean scrum, not reset, not penalty. You know, from the initial scrum, we got allowed to play. But England come back for the penalty, and again some good territory. We're getting quite a lot of control, a lot of possession early on for the English players.
And of course from the penalty they get the throw into the line out as well, so they've had territory and now they get the chance to get possession again. So
you can see
England
the
with a bit of advantage at the moment. 3-0 ahead.
Yeah, the composure, the time they're taking to get to the line to try and make sure they get it right, whereas Scotland, they want to get up and disrupt this and win the turnover.
Walker with the throw, long one to the tail, beautifully knocked back. Green puts it out. Here's a runner now. This is George Perkins, but is well cut down by the Scots back row. Taylor now. Hastings goes in with the tackle. Taylor dunts him on his backside for good measure, out of picture there. Good tackle for Scotland by Callum Sheldon. Look at the low body position there. Very good driving body position by the English back. Scots having to do a lot of tackling. Taylor goes in and Smith takes him down. Inside the Scots 22. Here come England again. Ooh, that was Prothero coming up in a wee inside move. Chance here for England down in the corner, and the ball just squirting into touch.
Some good defence, some big tackles as well coming in from the Scottish guys. Andrew Davidson and Matt Smith especially, stopping the English ball carriers in their tracks. It was an interesting tactic from England to challenge that area between the first defender at the ruck or close to the breakdown and the first defender and defensive line. The switch with Thacker and the ball back inside to Thorley, I think it was. It looked like a suspicion of a knock-on. But again, England forced to go to the boot. Prothero putting the grabber kick through because the Scottish defence was up to the task, and some big hits, especially from that man in the centre of your screen, Andrew Davidson, the big blonde lad, setting a good example with his club mate Scott Cummings in the second row.
6'7" he is, 16.5 stones Davidson, but it's Cummings is number 5, but it's Davidson. In fact, it's Cumming who goes up for the ball. A wee bit jiggery-pokery in the line out there, and the Scots managed to clear it away well. Taken up by Matt Smith. Back it goes to the Scots defence, and that kick, well, it's back to halfway, but here comes George Perkins. Perkins, tough as you like. And then Simmons, delicate kick, beautifully picked up by Kinghorn. Kinghorn up the touchline. Great running by the Scotland fullback. Infield it goes. This is Rory Hutchinson. Back to Kinghorn. What a piece of play by Scotland. Oh, that is a try out of the top drawer. Brilliant rugby. First by Blair Kinghorn and then Rory Hutchinson. Kinghorn did the scoring, but what a piece of play.
What an incredible try to tee us off this evening at Broadwood. Blair Kinghorn, there he is, he's getting the congratulations, the pat on the back from his teammates, and so he deserves it. Wonderful cover of the initial chip kick from Simmons to start with, and then the pace and the step took him away up the right hand side. And then it was all about the support from Rory Hutchinson working really hard on the inside. He beat one or two, and then it was back to Blair Kinghorn with searing pace to dive over in the corner. What a start from the Scotland under-20s, and a great try by Blair Kinghorn.
So that will no doubt have lifted Scots' morale. You could certainly hear the crowd baying in the background here at Cumbernauld. You can see in the stand on the far side the words Clyde, and this of course is the home ground for Clyde Football Club. But tonight it's a centre of rugby activity, and all eyes are focused on the goal kicker on the far side, and it's Blair Hutchinson again, the try scorer. Let's see how he does with this one. It's a longish kick right in the touchline. Well, he's got height and distance. Does he have direction? No, both the flags stay down. But the result, the scoreline now swings in Scotland's favour at 5 points to 3 for Scotland.
Well, we'll touch on that try again, Bill, because that man on your screen, Blair Kinghorn, he finished it off, and he was involved all the way through. A wonderful cover of the chip kick. The positioning was excellent. The catch was excellent. He then pulled out a step to beat his opposite number, Perkins.
They've played just over 15 minutes here. Sorry, Chris, thought you'd finished. Please carry on.
No, Hutchinson with the support, and then Blair Kinghorn with the pace to finish. And that's really good to see the Scottish guys taking the secure kick-off as well, backing up the good start to this match.
And England had really been sort of calling the tune up until that point. There's Adam Hastings with a kick downfield. Picked up here by the big England number 8, Callum Chick from Newcastle. There's the halfway line. Stan South takes it on. 19 years of age, 6'6" and 17.5 stones. Looks a bit heavier than that. Oh, lovely running there by that was going to be George Perkins. Fraser kicking for territory and finds it. Just a wee bounce before it goes into touch, and that's all that's needed. England will have the throw in.
Some really good attack on show, isn't there? I mean, the coaches will be disappointed at the number of turnovers that have came at the end of the attack, but there's good initiative, there's good pace onto the ball, and it's really refreshing to see the attitude of both teams to try and come out and play. Opportunity for England here was
17 minutes into the first half, and there is Jack Walker, the England captain, about to get this line out organised and started. There he goes. Nice take by Callum Chick. Look at the flat backs of these white shirted England forwards. The ball worked away to the bag, but the Scots driving them back initially. Jamie Ritchie, number 6 for the Scots, in the thick of it there. Last week he was playing professional rugby for Edinburgh against Cardiff in the Guinness Pro 12. And here he is at Broadwood in Cumbernauld, Scotland under-20s. That looked like Adam Hastings at the bottom of that lot. No, there he is. Nice pass, beautiful handling here. The Scots beginning to show their paces a wee bit. Chance for Darcy Graham, number 14, to follow that one up. Well picked up and covered there by Archie White, England's number 6. Lovely take again by, that's Kinghorn, the try scorer. Here comes Hastings. There's that wee shimmy and dummy. I saw him do that last week when the Scots under-20s played the Scottish Club 15. Just a wee show and go, and off he went. Maybe not the fastest you've seen, but my goodness, he times the break well.
Scotland are looking comfortable in the ball here and winning a penalty. England have to get their hands, but that was a really good phase of play by both forwards and backs for the Scotland under-20s. So Andrew Davidson, that man there, he's involved at the end, but Blair Kinghorn, who's having a terrific match so far, was carrying really hard. You saw McCallum tipping the ball on. That's the loose head prop tipping the ball on to Jamie Ritchie, who's an exceedingly good ball carrier. So forwards and backs involved and looking sharp.
Kinghorn, and easy as you like with that kick, and look, he's put the Scots within what? About 12 metres or thereabouts of the English try line. Now this is Jake Kerr from the Boroughmuir club. Hard-nosed lad out the Boroughmuir stable, you know, Meggetland in Edinburgh. Former pupil of Watson's, or a former player for Watson's, I should say. Beautiful take at the tail of the line out by the Scots. That looked like Matt Smith being hoisted aloft there like a flag. Then a wee chance here for Hugh Fraser, the scrum half. Knocked on perhaps. Oh, here we go. Oops. Well, somebody always kind of loses, not the temper, but just a little bit of composure now and then. But it's all grist to the mill, isn't it?
It's good to see, isn't it? It's good to see. Old habits die hard.
You as a fullback about half a mile away from most of that.
It's even better to see you the further away you are. No, it's good. It's just marking their territory, isn't it? These young lads, that they don't want to take a backward step. It means something to them to be out there. And as I say, we now follow it up with a scrum. So all that anger, all that aggression that was involved in the pushing and shoving, we just wait and see how it manifests itself in this scrum.
Well, this is an important phase of play, isn't it, this set piece, because in just a few minutes ago, England showed that they have got tremendous poundage and togetherness, and they shunted the Scots back in a scrum quite significantly.
Yeah, you need the element of control as well, so it's well set. Good start to the scrum.
Oh, and there's a penalty against the Scots again, so there's another little notch in the gun butt, so to speak, for the England scrum. Pats in the back for the boys in the front row.
Yeah, that was Murray McCallum on the near side. That call must have came in from the assistant referee on this near stand side. You see Murray McCallum, just his knee hit the ground and he was rightly penalised.
And Chris and I would like to say a special welcome to the people who are watching tonight in Finland and in Texas and in the Czech Republic. And I believe somebody was also in Jedburgh watching as well. So, you can't get much further afield than that. Finland, Texas and the Czech Republic and Jed. Pretty good. The
global reach of rugby, isn't it? It's a fantastic game, and hello to all those Scottish or English, wherever they are. Hope you're enjoying the spectacle so far. One try, Blair Kinghorn, and a fantastic try it was.
Wee dummy throw almost there by Walker, the England captain and hooker. Up to the English 10 it goes. There he goes, smooth as you like with this passing. Max Green to his standoff players, Archie White and Josh Bainbridge have done a lot of that. And here goes George Perkins now, all hustle and bustle. Picked up and taken on by the big fellas. Simmons, this is Thacker. Thacker short and stocky but very elusive. A Leicester lad. Good tackling there by the Scots number 4. I think that was Andrew Davidson who was in the thick of it there, putting his 16.5 stones to good use. And that kick ahead has gone straight out, so they'll come all the way back, level with where the ball was kicked for the Scottish line out.
Yeah, it was a good decision by Max Green, just not the perfect execution of the ball going out in the full, but Scotland again defended well, had slowed down the possession, were in good defensive shape. Max Green read that, he knew that. He tried to chip the ball over the front line, but unfortunately for him, just went too far.
As the scoreline would suggest, the game is very tight and very close. There's nothing in it between the sides. England, possibly, Chris, with scrummage advantage, but the Scots have showed that when they get the ball and move it wide, they can do things as well.
Yeah, and they're away again, and there's Adam Hastings on the ball, and a great wide pass out to Darcy Graham. The Scots really
there's a chance here for the Scots. Look at this. Away up the touchline goes Robbie Nairn. Number 11 on his jersey, left winger, playing away across on the right on that occasion. But Adam Hastings held that ball beautifully when he saw danger coming up and then distributed it well.
Yeah, it's really good to see the balance that Scotland are playing with when they have their hands on the ball. Matt Smith, who's spoken about how well he's defended and how many big tackles he's made. But there he was a link player right off the back of the line. He brought in Adam Hastings, and then the Scottish under-20s managed to get the ball to the outside, and Robbie Nairn, where, well, for those of you who know him, he plays down at Harlequins now, but he's been a star of the Scotland Sevens series and the World Series as well. So if he gets space, if he gets his ball in the hand, he's a dangerous runner, but ultimately well tackled there by Ollie Thorley.
Murray McCallum on the loose head for Scotland there, number 1 in the blue shirt. Jake Kerr, the hooker. Callum Sheldon on the far side. Davidson on this side at second row, and then Scott Cummings on the far side. 6'7" and 6'6". Big lads. Here goes number 8, Callum Chick. And that's Charlie Thacker away there, the wee fella, the stocky one with the black scrum cap. Good running. Nice change of direction again by England's ball carriers. And this is Joe Simmons. Francis.
Yeah, ball just going forward, and that's a result, a direct result from the pressure that the Scottish defence are putting on the charge down. The kick, Simmons shaped a kick, he won't.
Good dummy, but not good enough this time, Joe. But time will tell.
I think it was Adam Hastings who flew up Tom Galbraith as well, who put him under so much pressure he couldn't get the kick away. And then the inside defence helped him out, covered it, and it's a scrum opportunity for Scotland. I agree with you, Bill. I think England have had the better of the scrums so far. Good body positions, really controlled pad to launch off the last time. And we'll see how Scotland's feed goes here.
25 minutes played in the first half here at Broadwood Stadium. Scotland leading 5-3, as you can see, in the Scottish scrum, in a wee bit of a mess. Oh, Miller did brilliantly well. Hastings, chance here for Galbraith. Galbraith goes out to Darcy Graham. Graham there, and a lady with a woolly hat stands up in front of the camera, and we can't see, but there we are again. That was a lovely piece of play by Tom Galbraith that time.
On the ball, behind the back, flip pass, and then they still had the composure out wide with Tom Galbraith drawing his man and setting Darcy Graham free. Good. It was a fantastic attack from Scotland. Under pressure at the scrum, Ali Miller did well to get up, and then Hugh Fraser, a wonderful tackle on the end by the English defence, but again a good variation to the way that Scotland are trying to attack.
Walker, 18th under 20s cap, that English hooker. There's the throw in, and then Green with a kick over the top. Darcy Graham waits. Out it goes. Kinghorn to Hastings. This is Hastings now. Here comes Robbie Nairn. Nairn steaming away up that far touchline. You'll know a few of these guys because his club is the Harlequins club down in London, of course, and there are one or two from the Quins club playing in the England team, namely Joe Marchant at centre and Stan South and Archie White in the second row in the back row. So 4 young Quins there out on that field, 3 for England, 1 for Scotland, and it was the Scots lad who was just bundled down there short of the touchline.
Yeah, just be frustrating for Robbie Nairn. He lost the ball in contact after a good counter-attack. Darcy Graham caught the ball well. It was then transferred from one side of the field to the other. Adam Hastings getting his hands on the ball again before Robbie Nairn was tackled. And we're back to the scrum again, aren't we? Again, England on their own ball and opposition ball are looking strong in this facet of the game.
If you've just joined us on this live stream by Scottish Rugby Television, we're at the Under-20s International at Broadwood in Cumbernauld, where England are waxing strong in the scrummage, as you can see, but Scotland have the edge on the scoreline by 5 points to 3. England went ahead 9 minutes after the start with a penalty by Joe Simmons, and then there was a cracking try by the Scots, started and then finished by the fullback Blair Kinghorn. That was 15 minutes into the first half. 5-3, Scotland lead. England with a distinct scrummage advantage, and no doubt John DL, the Scottish coach, will have a word with some of his pack and see if they can work out some remedy for this ailment in the set piece. Yeah,
it looks like a power issue. The technique, to me, looks pretty good. They're nice and low, and the initial part of the scrum is actually quite good, but then that secondary surge and the power from England comes on, and it's frustrating Scotland a little bit at the moment.
Here's the line out. That's the halfway line, as you can see. Up go the jumpers, beautifully taken by Stan South. Here goes Simmons. Thacker again, looking for big Joe Marchant there beside him. Marchant was hovering on his elbow, but didn't get it. Green again. That looks like Callum Chick in the thick of it. Green again, looking for space, beginning to feel just a nose for a gap there. And then a turnover for Scotland, won by Ali Miller. Fraser to Hastings. Hastings comes back inside, then he goes out again. That was a bit of a whoopsie-daisy of a pass. Good hands. Here comes Kinghorn again. This big lad is so elusive and deceptive in his running. Moved infield, taken on by Jamie Ritchie, an Edinburgh professional, of course, an elite development player in the past, and several appearances. Ooh, that was almost a hospital pass and an interception pass there by Rory Hutchinson. Scotland, I was going to say, had done well to hold on to that, Chris, but actually they went off their feet.
Yeah, they're going off their feet as the surge came again from the English defence. It's very, very close to getting away there for Scotland. Darcy Graham just caught on the outside, but one more pass if Rory Hutchinson had held his depth a little more. I think there was space to attack on that outside edge, but England got there, they got the momentum, and then Scotland gone off their feet at the breakdown, and England won the penalty. It's so open and so even, this game. There's very little in it. It was interesting, John Callard, the English head coach, I was reading some of his quotes in the week, and it was really refreshing to hear. He says, we're looking for the players to use this competition to develop their all-round game. He says, we want functionally fit forwards on a strong set piece, ball handlers, good decision makers. It's great to see. He says, you can always come back to a tighter game. So they're obviously wanting to play a lot of rugby and develop their skills in the best environment possible.
Go the jumpers. Here they come again. Here's the heavy artillery. In touch though, says the assistant referee on this side.
That's a good outcome for Scotland. It was a well executed throw and catch by England, and so often we see the team who wins the line out start that maul, get it going. It's so hard to stop without giving a penalty away, but the Scots lads got their angles right, worked as a unit, and drove England into touch.
That English line has got Tom West at the front there, number 1 in the back of his shirt, and then tucked in behind him is big Stan South, and I think the throw-in was slightly off the straight that time. Yes, it was. So yeah. England have, as you could well understand, have opted for the scrummage.
Yeah, this is a really good attacking opportunity for England. Jake Kerr will be disappointed with the outcome of that line-out throw, but I have to talk about doing the next job, get the next job right. He'll set the height of the scrum as a hooker. He'll set the tempo in the scrum. But it's a formidable pack they're up against, a formidable scrum they're up against at the moment with English players. You can see George Perkins on this right hand side of the scrum, the rest of the English backs on the left. I'm sure they'll get a good platform to attack from.
Just over the half hour played, just under 10 minutes to go to half time, and there's the power of that set piece for England. Here goes Callum Chick, the Newcastle number 8, picking and driving, but the Scots have done well to hold him out there. Ball still in play. Now, was there a man offside? Knocked on.
It's knocked on. Well defended by Scotland there. Darcy Graham in. I think Ali Miller and Jamie Ritchie were off the back of the scrum really quickly. As the referee is going to call a timeout. I think he's got communication problems. But it was really well defended because there's a dominant scrum again from England. And Callum Chick decided to attack the right hand side, the short side. But he was well marshalled and the ball was knocked on in the tackle.
So just a wee pause for injury here. Last year England, of course, beat the Scots 26 points to 11 in Darlington, and England ended up as the under-20s champions, having played 5 and won 4 of their games. The French were second, the Scots were a very creditable third last year. So, England looking to maintain that high level of performance, and the Scots looking to emulate and improve on what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been really impressed with the Scottish lads so far. Every time you play England at any level, you're challenged because they've got so many good players. And I think the key for Scotland tonight is the fact that they've got 12 players with experience from last year returning, and for England there's 6 who played in the under-18s last year for England, so they're a slightly younger side, and that experience from these guys like Andrew Davidson and your shot there, who has experience playing for Glasgow Warriors at a pro level, as well as his second row clubmate Scott Cummings. These are the types of experience you need in order to come out on top, because when you play England they're going to be technically good, they're going to be skillful, powerful, but it's that experience that I think Scotland have the edge over the men in white at the moment. And in moments like this is where you use it, breaks in play, settle yourself, what's going to happen. We're now, we've got a line out here, we need to get the line out right, we need to clear the lines and take it from there, rather than just wonder what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. Get it right, talk about it and execute it.
I was hugely impressed by Scott Cummings when I saw him play for Glasgow at the start of the season. The big number 5 for Scotland. Captain of Scotland tonight, packing down in the second row. There he is, away on the far side of the big sweatband. Beetled brows. Looking for business in action. Here's this area of the game where England have been dominant tonight, though. Look at the pressure coming through from that second row and front row. Oh, and the Scottish scrum is all over the place. And that really is a plus mark for the English lads there tonight.
It's so dominant, isn't it? So strong, and it's an interesting to see that they're going to opt to kick to the corner. I think a more astute maybe decision would be to take the scrum. You've got Scotland under a lot of pressure there, Jack Walker's obviously the captain. He's opted to go to the line out, but I think the dominance in the scrum. We'll see what the outcome is of this, but I think that the coaches maybe preferred the scrum there.
There's Jack Walker with the throw. Up go the jumpers. That was Archie White, I think it was, with the catch. And then at the back, Josh Bainbridge. Ball tucked under the arm, but Scotland are driving them back and have done very well to gain 2 or 3 valuable metres there. Here comes Max Green. England edging closer and closer. Wild pass. Chance there. The hack on. Back goes Prothero. Prothero slides away from the upcoming tackle. Look at him. Eyes on the ball. Oh, and the bounce just beat him. That could have been a glorious moment there for young Matt Prothero. Now, have England turned this over, or have the Scots still got it? Ooh, they had, but they were holding on illegally. Ali Miller at the foot of that one. There he is, number 8 in the back of his Scots jersey.
We're back to this again, Bill.
Oh, the pushing, the handbags.
Yeah, well defended initially by Scotland at the line out. We spoke about the decision to take the line out over the scrum, but well defended initially. And then from the wide ball that hit the deck, Blair Kinghorn got his boot to it, and we thought, is he going to go the length again? Is he going to get the bounce? But some wonderful attack from Matthew Prothero, the Gloucester fullback. The spatial awareness to identify the space in behind the front line, and then the technical ability to chip, and just the bounce was just inches too high for him. But he looks an attacking threat and a good player.
We're just under 4 minutes to go to half time here. Possibly a little bit of stoppage time, but not much. And this penalty will give England the chance to regain the lead. They led 3-0 shortly after the start of the game when Joe Simmons kicked the opening penalty. And then Scotland scored their try through Blair Kinghorn to put it 5-3 for the Scots. That's the score at the moment, as you can see. This could put England ahead. And it's a relatively straightforward kick. Chris, tell us, what do the kickers have to think about? Just very briefly before he takes his kick.
What you have to do is replicate what you do in training. So Joe Simmons will work every day in training, and he just has to put himself in that situation. He'll be thinking about 1 or 2 things, and the first one will be to slow his heart rate down, calm his nerves, and then follow through to the target.
Here's Simmons then, just a wee chip, like a wee golf shot, and that's another 3 points for England under 20s. That puts them ahead by a single point. Scotland 5, England 6. Simmons with penalty number 2.
Again, another comfortable strike, Bill, wasn't it, by Joe Simmons? He looks at home in that 10 jersey, but it'll be the Scots to kick off, and they'll be looking to get some ball back and keep the ball in play, keep the tempo high, keep away from the set piece that England have a fair amount of dominance in the moment.
Blair Kinghorn with the restart dropout. That's a high one. Pushing England away back. Looked as though that was Joe Marchant underneath it. And Marchant got a wall of blue coming at him just as he caught that ball. And Scotland have got the scrummage.
Good chase again by Andrew Davidson. It's a name we've said often tonight, his defensive duties, but there he was surrounded by, well, you'd imagine quicker players, the second row being there, but he was first to get to the ball. There's an element of desire there, and he got there, he made his tackle and won the turnover. How does Scotland get over the scrummage disadvantage? Is a quick in and a Channel 1 ball? Yeah, I think so. I think that's the best idea. You can see the guys talking to each other there, and for me, Hugh Fraser, the scrum half, has to get this in. Jake Kerr, the hooker, quick strike and get the ball away. Ali Miller, the Scotland under 20s number 8, is good ball player. He'll be comfortable even if the ball is coming back at a fair rate. So I think you're right. Get it in, get it away, and challenge the midfield of England. There's that massive heave, and the Scots just cannot contain that power from the England back 5. Callum Chick with a pick and go. Scots have turned it over. Jamie Ritchie did very well. He goes. Hugh Fraser. Murray McCallum now setting it up. That's the England 22, that faint line that you can see. There goes. Is that big Scott Cummings? Looks like him. Scott's just a wee bit disorganised in the Hastings go. Oh, there's that wee shimmy and go, almost trying to glide through the gap. Sets it back for Fraser. Matt Smith with a lovely take and give. Good tackle by Prothero for England. Vital tackle. Here goes McCallum again.
See how the prop forwards are in first receivers often now. And there's a crunching tackle on Adam Hastings there by Stan South. Ali Miller for Scotland. Good tackle for England there. Big Hugh Taylor holding on. Penalty to England.
Yeah, it's Joe Marchment, outside centre, getting the pat on the back this time. He got over the ball, has managed to prevent Scotland from presenting the ball and winning the penalty. But some really nice touches in attack again from Scotland. Good pace onto the ball from Adam Hastings. Matt Smith with a nice pass to Murray McCallum, who's carried a lot of ball for Scotland tonight. And I wondered if the ball's going into touch. It has by Simmons, and that's a wonderful kick from a tight angle, gaining 50 metres for his side.
Very interesting game. Penalties, 2 penalties for England, a try for Scotland, and half time coming up any second. And at half time we'll get a wee summary from Chris, and then we'll have a wee, not a break in transmission because we've got something else for you, but we'll be back for the second half live. So get your cup of tea, get the kettle on, and then come back and watch the second 40. Fabulous tackle there on Marchant, and that was Robbie Nairn. Another penalty against Scotland. I think it was Blair, was it Rory Hutchinson this time who gave it away?
Yeah, we're interested to see what the referee's saying. It was a wonderful tackle, a good set piece move from England to start with, and then well read defensively by Robbie Nairn out wide for Scotland, and then Rory Hutchinson, I think, for not running away. I didn't see the referee's action, but this is a longer range effort for Simmons. This time he's kicked 2 from 2 close range efforts, but this just before half time is an important kick for him.
This could be the last kick of the first period of the game. 40 minutes each way, of course, under 20s rugby. And this is Joe Simmons, the lad from Exeter, and has played a lot of rugby at Taunton as well. And he's kicked 2 penalties for England under 20s already this evening. This is a kick of about 50 metres, allowing for the angle. Maybe just under the 50. Powerfully built laddie. Simmons then for England. Oh, did he get that one? It's just a wee bit short. It dropped just short of the crossbar. That looked like Blair Kinghorn underneath it, and Kinghorn hoofs it away downfield into touch. Cleared it very well from a Scots point of view.
Yeah, well caught and cleared by Blair Kinghorn. It was just too far out for Simmons. The strike was okay, it was on target, but just fell maybe 5 metres or so short, and Blair Kinghorn, look at the result from his kick. He caught it, he took it forward 2 or 3 yards, and then must have kicked it 50 metres to clear the lines. Good player, Blair Kinghorn, a fullback. He's calm, he's composed, but he has a physical presence and a turn of pace we've already seen for his try.
The jumper's beautifully taken by Taylor, the big Worcester lock. Thacker looking for Simmons on the run around. Simmons a wee bit wild with the pass. Chance here. Away goes. This is Hutchinson. And again the lady with the blue bonnet stands up in front of us. She gets excited, as do the rest of the crowd. Penalty to Scotland. Now what can they do in these dying seconds of the first half? And a yellow card.
An interesting decision here for Scotland.
I don't know quite who that England player is. Here they go again. Here's big Callum Sheldon.
It's maybe Jack
all
Walker.
19 stones of him. Fraser, out it goes. Cummings now for Scotland. Pressure on the England try line. England leading, of course, by 1 point. There goes Davidson. Chance here for McCallum. McCallum's there. McCallum gets the score for Scotland to put the Scots 10-6 in the lead on the stroke of half time.
Incredibly important time to score. Crucial time to score. Just before half time, Scotland trailing by a point. They win a penalty after good attack, and then the clinical decisions, to take on England. Again, that man Andrew Davidson thundering towards the line, and then it was loose head. His teammate Murray McCallum coming round the corner, running hard of Hugh Fraser, and being driven underneath the post to score Scotland's second try.
That was a tremendous team effort. Lovely piece of running initially by Rory Hutchinson to get the territory, but there's Blair Kinghorn popping over the conversion. So Kinghorn has personally had a very good half with his try, and with his conversion of that try by Murray McCallum. And so it's 12 points to 6 at the turn, Chris, and that's been a very good first 40.
Absolutely, a great game of rugby to watch. 2 tries for Scotland, 2 wonderful tries. One out wide from Blair Kinghorn, showing all the pace in the world, and then the second one at the crucial moment, the championship minutes, just before and just after half-time. Scotland have struck through Murray McCallum's try. England have had set-piece dominance, kicked 2 penalties, but Scotland will be happier going into the break.
Well, we know we've had viewers in Finland and the Czech Republic, but at half-time here at Braidholme in Cumbernauld, it's 12-6 for Scotland. Here's something to interest you about Edinburgh College here in the heart of Scotland. Welcome back to Broadwood Stadium here in Cumbernauld. Half-time, as you can see, Scotland leading England at under-20s level by 12 points to 6. Here's the score up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Chris Patterson's alongside me, and Chris, it's been a thrilling first 40 minutes, full of incident and some very good rugby.
Absolutely, and a lot of quality as well. That's the key. These guys are almost fully professional. A lot of them will be fully professional, but when you put them together as a unit, this is, as good a game as you'll see, as close to professional and international rugby. The next step for these guys is full international honours, and a lot of them look ready for that, to be honest. The physicality is good. The defence I've been hugely impressed by in both teams. England's set pieces, especially in the scrum, has had dominance, but the game management and the flow from the Scottish side, I think, has been really, really important and really impressive. They've attacked wide, they've won ball over one space over the top of the ball, they've scored out wide, they've scored in tight, and they've settled sharp with ball in hand.
Out in the field there are the Bog Hall and Bathgate Pipe Band. You can see them in the centre circle. There they are, splendid in their kilts, and I don't know if they'll be at Murrayfield tomorrow for the big Calcutta Cup match between Scotland and England. We'll speak about that in a minute, Chris. But there they are, giving a very warm Scottish welcome to all our viewers, wherever they may be. And of course, we've had a massive audience tonight. As far apart as Finland and the Czech Republic, there were folk in Africa watching the women's game a couple of hours ago. But here we are. And let's just have another look at that Scottish under-20s and England under-20s score sheet, because I see that we've got 2 tries for Scotland and 2 penalties for England. Now that would suggest that the Scots have had by far the better of the game, perhaps. But actually it's not been like that, has it?
I think England started better, and then Scotland, defended really well in the opening phases, and then got that breakaway score through Blair Kinghorn. Wonderful score. He covered Joe Simmons' chip perfectly, caught the ball in the full, took off up that faraway touchline and had support inside from Rory Hutchinson. And between the two of them, they beat 2 or 3 players and had the ghastly finish off with Blair Kinghorn diving in the corner. And that came against a run of play a little bit. And then from there, England came back into the game, edged ahead 6 points to 5 from the 2 penalties from Simmons, got complete scrum dominance. And it wasn't until the final moments, just before half-time, that Scotland capitalised on some more good possession. A great break down the left-hand side from Darcy Graham, and then England were penalised. Hooker Jack Walker was then sin-binned for killing the ball 5 metres out from the line. Scotland decided to take it quick through Hugh Fraser. Andrew Davidson made a big drive towards the line, and then as the ball came back round, McCallum hit the ball at pace right underneath the post and was driven over. So it's been a very fair half. It's probably, as the score suggests, Scotland deserve to be ahead because they've scored the 2 tries, but there's not a lot in it at all, and it'll be interesting to hear what the coaches are saying to the players at half time. I think John Callard and English coaches will be saying more set piece orientated game and try and maybe add a little bit more width to their attack. They've attacked very close to the breakdown, and Scotland's defence has been good. And for Scotland, I think, they'll say more of the same. The quicker they can make the game, the quicker the tempo, the better. And for goodness sake, don't commit too many knock-ons, because we've got to keep the ball away from the English scrum. It's so strong.
Now, Chris, we've got a few minutes before the players come back out to start the second half of this under-20s game, so let's turn our attention briefly to Murrayfield tomorrow. 67,500 people packed into the stadium, the Calcutta Cup at stake. The bookies have got England as the favourites. What's your take on it?
Well, I think it's so difficult to call. It's so difficult to call. We've got a Scotland team who had by all accounts, a good World Cup, but they'll be disappointed with the way it finished as well. Frustration in the way it finished. But it's a settled side. They've got a great coaching staff and some fantastic young players, and they'll be hoping to carry on from where they left off in the World Cup. And you've got England, who are going to start in team with 512 caps, a hugely experienced team, but under a new regime under Eddie Jones, who I think they'll be fairly conservative in the way they approach the game. They've got a big pack, obviously. I think they'll take it to Scotland up front, and then the stardust will come maybe from Jonathan Joseph and Anthony Watson and Jack Nowell, all guys who've played at this level before for England in the 20s. But I think that the stardust will come from the individuals, whereas I think Scotland's stardust will come from the collective effort slightly more. I think width and endeavour and attack, I think. But it's so difficult to call. These games are decided in fine margins, and the bounce of the ball, a referee's decision, a scrum penalty this way or that could determine where the Calcutta Cup ends up tomorrow night.
Chris, the recall of John Barclay opens up possibilities for the way that Scotland can play the game. It'll have John Hardy at 7, John Barclay, another open side wing forward, at 6, and Big Dave Denton at 8. Now, how do you see John Barclay and John Hardy working together, or is it asking too much really to sort of specifically say?
Well, I think it's almost 2 classic open sides. I mean, Hardy's low to the ground, he's hard in contact, he gets over, he steals ball, and John Barclay does that, but he also adds an attacking edge. He's got wonderful soft skills to be able to distribute passes, as an attacking threat as well. And I think that's the key battle tomorrow. The front fives, I think, almost even each other out. At the back rows, where the real battle is for me. In England, you've got Robshaw and Haskell at 6 and 7, and Vunipola at 8. All big, all good ball carriers, all hard men. But with Barclay and Hardy, you've got quicker guys, lower to the ground, and traditionally that quick ruck game suits Scotland. And I think, where England came undone, in the World Cup, at their worst, I suppose, was when they came against Pocock and Hooper in that Australian back row. And if Scotland can emulate that with the 2 7s they've picked, I think they may just make an edge at the breakdown and hopefully free some of the wonderful attacking talent Scotland has in the backs.
Now, you've been out there in the Calcutta Cup matches more times than I care to think, but you've done it at Twickenham, you've played at Twickenham, and you've played at Murrayfield. Give us a couple of wee anecdotes, a couple of little memories from your experiences in the Calcutta Cup games, things that maybe you have a wry smile at, or a bit of relief that things went well, or whatever. Just a couple of wee stories.
Some of the greatest memories of my career come back, from Scotland England games. The atmosphere is just, it's different to any other game. Now, as a professional player, you prepare like any other, no matter who you're playing against. But as a supporter, they treat this one differently, and you feel that passion on the field, especially at Murrayfield. And I just really enjoy it. I can remember being in the centre circle at Twickenham, up against it with 80,000 fans singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," and it's just such an inspiring place to be, because you have the opportunity there to do something about it. You feel you've got the power to rub their noses in it, as such, if that's not too hard a phrase. And then at Murrayfield, there's no better place. You've got the support behind you. I was lucky enough to be in the winning team 3 occasions in 2000, 2006 and 2008. And the memories of teamwork and camaraderie and just that spirit that you're going to give all you can for your teammates and for the people there watching is something that lives with you for a long, long time. Hard games. I can remember being at Twickenham and getting nowhere near the ball in 2000. I think it was 2001 and 2003, where that dominant England team, I was playing at fullback and in the wing, and Wilkinson and Cat were dictating possession, kicking balls to the corner. So frustrating, because you couldn't get anywhere near the ball. They were so good with their accuracy. But some wonderful memories, and lucky enough to have lifted that trophy 3 times.
Well, as you can see on your screen here, come England back out onto the field for the start of the second period of 40. That was Chris Patterson there reminiscing on some of his Calcutta Cup experiences. 12-6 Scotland lead at the turn. Tries by Kinghorn and McCallum, and Kinghorn converted McCallum's late try just on the stroke of half time. Joe Simmons kicked a couple of penalties for England under-20s. So it's going to be a very interesting 40 minutes. As I said earlier on, England won this fixture. They've won all 11 of the previous 11 fixtures. And last year they beat the Scots 26-11 down in Darlington. And England won the under-20s Six Nations Championship last year. The Scots were third. So England want to hang on to that title. Scotland want to go better than third.
And we spoke in the first half, Bill, about experience and cool decisions under pressure, and this is what faces both sets of players, really. Scotland want to continue how they finished that end of the first half, and England will have to make some tactical changes, I think. They'll want to have a bit more width to their attack, and that's where the pressure then goes on to the decision makers, the 9s, the 10s, the captains, the vice captains, because they need to guide the team around the field. But we're in for a cracking second half. 2 good tries in the first half for Scotland. Let's see what the second half brings.
Joe Simmons kicks off for England. Jamie Ritchie picks up and has a bit gallop at the white-shirted line in front of him. Adam Hastings. Long kick. Is that George Perkins? Oh, and he was outside his 22, or it was carried back in. Yeah, and went straight out.
Pretty clever, wasn't it, by Callum? He knew that the ball had been passed back inside to 22 for Adam Hastings to clear. And Callum managed to get his foot over the touchline, catch the ball in play, which means that he was, as long as his foot's touching the ground outside the field of play, before he touches the ball, it's deemed to be put out on the full. And England now, clever piece of play, good decision under pressure by Callum. They now have the throw into the line deep in Scotland's territory.
England's line out has worked well. That was a wee short one to the front. Tom West took it though, the young lad from the Wasps club in London. Chick takes it on, number 8. Lovely feed out there to Josh Bainbridge. Bainbridge is just a wee bit slow in getting that one away, but there goes Green now with the pass. Oh, and Simmons went backwards. Green again, picks his target. Prothero that time. Here's Marchand. Lovely dancing feet. Out it goes. This time it's Ollie Thorley. And it's well robbed there and well turned over by Jake Kerr as Thorley pulled the ball back infield. Back it goes to Hastings. Gosh, that was like a blast from yesteryear. Back it goes to Hastings. There's Prothero again. This wee fullback from the Gloucester club does like to pop up in all sorts of places on the field.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him, Bill. He's an elegant runner. He's covering the ground well. His positional sense is very good. And there, he knew that he was running, out of space really. So he dropped the ball into the foot and forced Blair Kinghorn to poke the ball at the touch. I think we're going to see our first change of the evening.
Somebody hurt over there. The referee seemed to be suggesting there was going to be a changeover. Number 23. So this is Taylor Prell who comes on. Yeah, it's Joe Simmons, the standoff, who's had to leave the field.
Just looks as if he's taken a knock maybe to the lower back. Or
Yeah.
the top of the leg or thigh, perhaps. He had to go down on a loose pass there, and he was under pressure on the Scottish defence. But he looks a composed player for England.
Here go England again then, waxing strong in the set piece as you would expect. Chick takes it on. Green whips it out along. Here's Prothero, lovely deft offload there. Frantic work by the Scots in defence. Here's big Archie White. This big number 6 does like to rampage. South takes it on again for England. Just a couple of metres short. Dynamic winning of the ball. Prothero, like a wee waif, isn't he? He looks as though he could go through a gap that doesn't exist. And here's Prell. Caught there, but let go by Kinghorn. I almost said caught by Kinghorn, but he just spun out the tackle. Nice offload again to Will Stewart. Stewart, the prop, took an eternity to get round onside there, but he did. Chance here for Darcy Graham. Graham tries to hand them off. Picked up again. That's one of the big England centres, Marchand, I think, who's got the ball. And then here come the heavy artillery, Tom West. Tenacious work here by Jamie Ritchie, number 6 for Scotland with a big sweatband. There he is. His head sticking up there like a lamppost out the middle of that maul. And the Scots have put the choke tackle in and have won the ball, which is well done.
Yeah, Jamie Ritchie is a strong lad. He's came through, he's held I think it was the scrum half, was it Mass Green, who got caught at the back there. But a good defensive set again from Scotland, and it had to be because they were being tested by England. Matthew Prothero stepped up from 15 to first receiver, and he was dictating play very nicely. We saw Chick carrying well, Bainbridge, the number 7, carrying well the back rows. We saw them attacking the short side, but the defensive set from Scotland was good, and they managed to turn England over. As we see another change, 16 coming on. This is probably a result of the sin binning. Jack Walker was sin binned the hooker. Indeed. Just before half time.
So that looks like Archie White, I think.
Yeah, Archie White comes off.
Coming to the side. And it'll be Jack Singleton going on as temporary hooker, I would think, until the England captain Jack Walker comes back.
You can see how tight the English defence are there in that shot. Look at the 10, 12, 13, so close together. If Scotland can get a good scrum here, which hasn't been the case so far, and attack the wide channels, that's a way into the game for Scotland. But it all depends on the delivery from this scrum. That's
a better scrummage. And maybe that's because they don't have the number 1 hooker on the England side playing. Hastings gets it out along the line. Wider ball. Kinghorn. Big boot. Look at the distance of that. That's 45, 50 metres. Here's Taylor Prell from Yorkshire Carnegie with a wee chip and a go. Caught by Fraser. Fraser finds Hastings there to help him, and Hastings is cool. Now, is that kick going to stay in and bounce into touch? It's caught. Thumping tackles there, but that was Ollie Thorley taking the ball up. Scots may have thought there was a misdemeanour there. Lovely running here by George Perkins. Perkins is a big strong lad. Look at the size of him, and he's got pace. Kinghorn won't let him get by, and that's an overkick there by Perkins. Now, will the referee come back for any late tackle on Perkins, I wonder? Will he consult with his linesman?
No.
Maybe not.
I think he's going to come back for the scrum. George Perkins did wonderfully well, didn't he? Picking up the loose ball. He identified that it was Jake Kerr, the Scottish hooker opposite him, and he took him on the outside. And then powerful run down the right hand side. He'll be disappointed with the kicking option because he kicked it too hard. It's very difficult to kick delicately when you're running at such a pace and your stride's so long. Because of that, because of the adrenaline and the speed, he didn't manage to control his kick. But it brings us back to another scrum. England down to 7 in the scrum due to the sin bin, and it certainly helped Scotland the last time out, and they were able to attack the wide channel. But if we stay in this shot at the moment, we can see how close together the 10, 12, 13 are for England, and in that space, a half field outside Marchmont to attack for Scotland.
There's the strike. Jake Kerr gets the ball back. Ali Miller for Scotland. Back it goes to Hugh Fraser. Here's Adam Hastings. Long ball out wide. Trying to get it out. Robbie Nairn with a wee catch and the kick ahead. The young lad from the Harlequins club in London. Here he is, number 11 on the back of his blue shirt. And
yeah, Robbie Nairn, I'm disappointed with that. You've stretched England. You've taken them to where you wanted. You attacked the space. And you just got to hold on to possession, retain possession there, because as England come over to cover that space, you then take it to the space they've just come from, Bill, and manipulate a defence that way. But it's a powerful ball carrier, Robbie Nairn, but I think he'd prefer to keep that one in his hand and build a few phases.
Jack Singleton of Worcester about to throw in. I think this is his first cap for England under-20s. Right on the halfway line. Very keenly contested game here today, and the crowd at Cumbernauld have really enjoyed it. Good line-out work. That was again Hugh Taylor with the ball. Prothero pops it through. Lovely deft hands there by the Scots. Now, what will Kinghorn produce here? A big kick, that's what he'll produce. And a bounce, which takes full back. That's not, that could be Perkins. Here goes Kinghorn again. Hastings is cool. Hastings is away. The wee chip off the right foot. Will he get the bounce? Can he win the race? Oh, it's just too far. What a great piece of individual skill by Adam Hastings.
Oh, wow. If that ball had sat up, it would have been a wonderful individual score from Adam Hastings. A good catch from Blair Kinghorn and a wonderful pass inside to Hastings, and it was all about him. The gas came on. He stepped inside Jack Singleton, went for the chip kick, and it just too hard with the follow-up fly hack. But he has a presence and a calmness. He looks like his famous father Gavin as well, doesn't he? A wonderful touch on the ball, a nice flow to his attack, but a very, very good player and a good prospect for Scotland indeed.
Back onto the field comes England captain Jack Walker from his 10 minutes in the sin bin. Kick-off caught by Jamie Ritchie. Ritchie takes it up right at the heart of the English defence. Fraser along the line. Davidson to Hastings. Hastings full of confidence. Luke, he worked that ball away well. Here goes Darcy Graham again. This young lad from the Hawick club. And a turnover for England. Valuable possession. This is Taylor Prell, who looks like one of these lovely gliding players. He's come on at standoff. I don't think Archie White would ever describe himself as a gliding player, but is one hugely effective number 6 for England. Very strong player. Will Stewart now, the Wasps prop. Prothero. Thacker. Oh! Thacker dunted onto his back. Green gets it away again. That was nice timing of the run there by Bainbridge, but Scotland have turned it over, Chris.
Oh, some wonderful tackles by Tom Galbraith, and the pressure forcing England to the turnover.
And a turnover again for England. Oops, knocked on first. Back they come.
Yeah,
well, it's all happening here at Braidwood, isn't it?
It is, and Scotland are in control here because they've got territory. The defence is standing up really, really well. They're making good initial tackles, getting back into position really well, and England aren't playing wide enough for their liking. I think they'd like to play a bit wider, but the force in the Scotland defence and the line speed isn't allowing them to attack the wide outside channels. I think Scotland can be proud of the way they're defending and take real strength from this. As I say, they keep forcing the turnovers from England and in the right area of the field, and they're making good decisions.
They've played just over 11 minutes in the second half here at Cumbernauld, at the Broadwood Stadium. Artificial surface, as I mentioned earlier on. You can see there it doesn't cut up at all. I think a lot of players quite enjoy that because it is pretty steady all the way through. There are no sort of tussocks and divots and bits of mud for them to slip and slide on. So here we are, back with play after that wee pause for injury to one or two of the players. Hugh Fraser, former Merkison Castle schoolboy, and Esher and London Irish were some of his clubs in the past, and he's an Edinburgh elite development player now. He's the scrum half for Scotland, away at the back there with the ball in hand. Here he is.
Sharp, he's played well, Hugh Fraser, really sharp, good understanding the game. He's read one or two of the chip kicks that the English attack have put over as well, that his role as and the sweeper in behind the defensive line. But an interesting setup here for Scotland, 3 either side of their scrum. Let's see how the ball comes out. See how it's
There's
delivered.
that 8-man England shove again, though, and there's yet another penalty against Scotland in that set piece. The extra man, that when they get their 8th man and their hooker back, he adds a stability and a bit of girn, doesn't he, to their unit. He's a good player.
It's impressive, isn't it, that scrum? You know, at any level, that's technically it's a great scrum. It's strong, it's low, and it's causing Scotland all sorts of problems.
Substitute down in the touchline is going to be Ben Robbins of Curry, who's played 4 times previously for the Scotland under-20s. That looks like Robbie Nairn has played his part in this Scottish campaign. Well, in this round 1 of the Scottish campaign anyway, Chris. Look at the height these laddies get off the deck. Through there very quickly goes Jake Kerr on the England jumpers. That looked like Callum Chick taking it up to halfway.
Scotland are happy defending there. You know, again, it's a one-out runner. It's full of vigour. It's a big hard carry, but it's not challenging Scotland's defence. England would want to play this a bit wider. That's the first 3 phases, all of one pass. You've got to vary the attack a bit more.
Thacker again taking the ball. It just went behind it, but there is such pressure from the Scottish tacklers that the English boys can't quite get the rhythm behind the scrum going. They're very strong up front.
Yeah.
They're behind the scrum.
Well, every attack there came off the scrum half. So it was one pass, and then Scotland's defence is so well organised. It's so brave and committed. That tackle, it isn't easy. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of technique, but you're not challenged mentally. There aren't, dummy runners. There's not 2 or 3 passes to worry about. It's just one runner coming round the corner, and Scotland are defending that very well. But England, I think, need a bit more balance to their attack.
Up goes Scott Cummings, the Scottish captain. Away goes. That's Matt Smith. Nice running there by the Scots onto that feed. McCallum, who scored the try just before half-time, takes it on. And back to Hastings. He's the controller. There's a wee change of tactic. Knocked into the hands of Jamie Ritchie. Ritchie goes, instinctively cuts infield. Well caught by White. Good chance here for Fraser to get the backs going. McCallum taken on by Davidson for Scotland. West is in there ripping and tearing for England. The big loose head prop. And bodies. Oh, here goes Hugh Fraser. Fraser again. Running a wee bit out of room. Inside it goes. Chance for Miller. Scotland leading 12-6 and hammering on England's try line. Fraser again. There goes Davidson. And Cummings in attendance. Here are the big guys. Kerr at the foot of that very stout English defence. McCallum with 1 try already, going for number 2. He's not going to get it this time. Kerr out it comes. This time it's Cummings. Cummings is there for Scotland. Try number 3 for the Scots, who lead now by 17 points to 6.
Well, that's a fantastic try by captain Scott Cummings. It came from quick thinking from Hugh Fraser. Scotland had won a penalty on the 22 in front of the post, but he took it quickly. Then the reaction of the players around about him. Hugh Fraser attacked. He threw the ball back inside, round the back of his body to Ali Miller, and then it became the control, the driving play from Jake Kerr, from Murray McCallum, from Andrew Davidson, and then finally big Scott Cummings, captain, driving over for Scotland's 3rd try. A fantastic piece of attack and well rewarded.
Absolutely tremendous teamwork, and for a while it looked as though England had defended that and shut the Scots out, but there was a persistence and an understanding, I thought, of what to do there, which was very good. So here we are, 15 and a half, almost 16 minutes into the second half. Blair Kinghorn lining up this conversion, which will put the Scots 2 points further ahead if successful. Let's just have a look at this. Well, I've seen straighter kicks, and they kind of pulled that one off to the left. It's 17 points to 6 though, and the Scots have showed that they can score tries in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be disappointing with that, Blair. It was a long way off, and these points can be really, really important. But you noticed as he run back towards his half, he passed number 20 for England, Zach Mercer. They were teammates for England Scotland under 18s last year. And there was a word swapped between them. I wonder what it was said, but Scotland need to focus on what they're doing, get a good exit here because they're playing terrifically well so far.
There's Mercer, the new cap with that pale blue scrum cap. Fresh legs, of course, so obviously the English management, John Callard and company, will be looking to get a bit more activity and get a wee bit more maybe creativity into this England performance so far.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. Scotland's defence has been so impressive, hasn't it? The commitment, the organisation, the structure, the shape. And England's attack has probably struggled as a result of how good the Scottish attack is, but that's what good coaching, that's what good players do. They read the situation and make good tackles. Stan
South did well for England there. Here's Charlie Thacker trying to burst through this wee stocky centre with a black scrum cap. He's at the bottom of that lot there. Prothero the full back, out it goes to Marchand. Green again, bringing it this way. Prothero seems to have moved up to standoff now, because he has played standoff quite a lot. England winning enough ball really to be very dangerous. This game far from over. 18 minutes played in the second half. Scotland 3 tries to the good and winning a penalty there. 17-6 the Scots lead, as you can see from the scoreline in the top left hand corner of your screen there.
Well, that was Scotland's back row working in tandem. Again, Matt Smith with another colossal tackle, a real low, hard tackle on Josh Bainbridge. And then his back row colleague, Ali Miller, the number 8, he got over the top of the ball and won the penalty. Back rows working together, full of bravery, full of courage. And it's an interesting decision here for Blair Kinghorn. I thought he might kick it goal, but he's going to go to the touch.
This is the young lad who's been playing professionally for Edinburgh, of course. He's had 8 games for them this season already. And there's a kick to touch. I don't think he's entirely happy with the distance of that one, but nevertheless it's put them, that faint line is the England 22 metres line. You can still see the markings of the football pitch, this is Clyde Football Club's ground, but there's the 22 and that's where the line out will take place.
He didn't look very happy, but it's a good outcome. Just inside the 22.
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, it's got them right up there. There's big Cummings, all 6'6" of him. Stretching up, and away it goes. This is Matt Smith. Smith for the corner is there. Smith has got try number 4. 22 points to 6. And the Scots are really beginning to hammer England at Broadwood.
Well, Matt Smith deserves a score, doesn't he? He's been impressive all night. He's attacked well. He's been destructive and absolutely incredible in the tackle defensively. And now he's got a try to cap off his night so far. The throw was great from Jake Kerr, right to the tail of the line out. The catch was good, and as it came down, Matt Smith spun out and just scored from 20 metres out. He managed to get on the outside of Taylor Prell and dive over. A fantastic performance by Matt Smith and a fantastic score.
And Blair Kinghorn will be saying that is exactly where I meant to put that previous penalty for the line out.
And who won the penalty? At the breakdown it was Matt Smith and it was Ali Miller.
Aye.
And Blair Kinghorn, although he didn't look happy with his line kick, that was a good outcome.
There is a resilience about this Scottish performance tonight which I find impressive in the face of very strong set-piece dominance by England, especially in the set scrum. England have been rampant in the set scrum, but the Scots elsewhere have been very effective. Here's big Kinghorn again. He'll have gone to school on that last kick which veered to the left. Let's see this one. That's gone right between the sticks. Another couple of points. 24 points to 6.
He has a better strike from Blair Kinghorn. Sign of a good goal kicker to assess what happened in the one before and put it right for the following kick. 24 points to 6. 4 tries for Scotland. Matt Smith did the latest one, and he deserves it. He's been outstanding tonight.
I remember watching you kicking goals for Scotland and Argentina a number of years ago, Chris, on a very windy day. And the ball was going everywhere and you drilled everyone right between the sticks, in between all the toilet paper that was flying through from the crowd as well from behind the goalposts.
Yeah, it was
but that was a good kick by Blair Kinghorn.
It was an excellent kick, and a good catch from the kick-off for Scotland as well. And this is important for them to get their kick chase well, get their line organised defensively, because England are going to throw everything they have at them.
Here comes Marchand, this big centre. He's a try scorer for them. He's got 6 in his under-20s career so far. Green off that lovely sweet left hand of his to Walker, the captain, who gets thumped onto the deck unceremoniously. Prothero playing standoff. That's more like it from England. Thacker this time looking for support. Up there is I think it was Zach Mercer in that pale blue cap for England. Back for Scotland is Kinghorn, and Kinghorn has to hurry and scurry to get that one away. But there's the power of the full-back's kick. You see, it's almost halfway. Prothero. Tackled. 3 men got him there. One of them, I think, was George Thornton with that pale blue scrum cap on. And there's the other pale blue scrum cap of Zach Mercer, the replacement back row from Bath. And another penalty against England, this time for going down off their feet in the tackle.
Yeah, sealing off this time it's Hugh Taylor after a strong carry by Zach Mercer. Again, another wonderful low chop tackle. This time I think it was a combination of Jamie Ritchie and Scott Cummings making the tackle. The defence has been so impressive from Scotland tonight. They really have put their bodies in the line but been accurate in their execution in the tackle as well.
You can hardly credit it, but Scotland have scored 4 tries in these 24 points. Let me just list them for those people who may have just joined us on this Scottish Rugby live stream. Blair Kinghorn and Murray McCallum scored in the first half, tries numbers 1 and 2. Scott Cummings went over 15 minutes after the start of the second half, and then Matt Smith went rampaging through from the tail of a line out 4 minutes later, just 19 and a half minutes into the second half. We've played about 24 minutes now into that second period, and Scotland are leading 24 points to 6.
It's been impressive after half-time, hasn't it, by Scotland? Although they're still under pressure in the scrum, I think it's improved somewhat. And they're controlling their discipline as well. I mean, England are giving so many more penalties away. It allows Blair Kinghorn to clear the lines. It allows Scotland to launch another attack in English territory.
Billy Keystone for England, number 18 in the back of his shirt. That looked as though big Andrew Davidson had pinched it for the Scots, but England got it back and did well. Marchand out along the road. This is Prell trying to get away there, but is well caught and in there for the Scots. That looked like Scott Burnside who was on there. Here come England again, and I think young Prothero took his eye off the ball. It is in fact Scott Burnside who's come on, number 20. When I saw him last, he was wearing a black and red scrum cap, and I was momentarily thrown. There he is. He's got the pale blue one on. There he is, just at the back of that little group of Scots players ready to form up the scrum.
I think he's come on for Ali Miller, and he's another terrific defender, a real big hitter, a big tackler. Scott Burnside, a medical student at Edinburgh University, but he throws his body around. He's a quality player. He's one of the BT Sport Stage 3 Academy players, Scott Burnside.
Ali Miller has played his part in this Scotland performance so far. I would think at the moment coach John DL, and I think, is Sean Levine still director of rugby for the under-20s, or has he moved on to London Scottish now?
He's still involved in the age group setup at Murrayfield Jam.
I think they'll be delighted with this. Oh, and there's Hugh Fraser. Now that is about the first error that Hugh Fraser has made tonight, just over kicking straight out.
Yeah, similar to Max Green in the first half. The decision was good. It was the right decision. The space was there to be found, but the execution just let them down slightly, and the ball goes out in the full. But an important period for England, this, isn't it? They need to get a score if they want to threaten Scotland towards the end of this game. They have to try and get something now, but Scotland's defence has been so good, been so accurate, that it's going to take a lot of breaking down.
I think England have brought on most of their replacements now. They've got Andrew Kitchener on, big number 19, and I saw Jack Singleton 16 and Billy Keast number 18 on. Rather, Jake Pope number 17 and Billy Keast. However, game goes on. This is Jamie Shilcock of Worcester, number 21 for England. Replacement at scrum half. Lovely running, this fella Prell up the far side. Is that Aspland Robinson? Way in the distance there. England looking more like it. Prothero sees the gap. Oh, what a lovely glide there by Prothero. This lad really can play. England again. Out it comes to Walker, the hooker and captain. Chance here wide out. Scotland putting the tackles in. England determined to get over the whitewash, but they haven't so far. They may this time. Ooh, and the referee's right on the spots, but look at that tackling there. Hugh Fraser, body underneath the ball. What's the referee going to give there? Because we've got no replays here tonight. And this is, I think he'll have to consult with his assistant referee.
Well, they're right on the spot, aren't they? They couldn't get any closer to the action. It looked like Hugh Fraser got underneath the ball, certainly held it up short, but then whether Jamie Shelcock then had a second effort from 9 and scored a try or not, we're not sure. As Andrew Bays says no. Good defence again from Scotland, because England are throwing everything at it. They've had to concede the penalty, but on 2 or 3 occasions England were inches short the line and the Scottish lads held out. This will be a big opportunity for England here. They'll build this scrum 5 metres out.
Now a couple of new English props in Jake Pope and Billy Keast there. A new English second row in Andrew Kitchener. A new English back row in Zach Mercer. And a new scrum half, Jamie Shelcock. So the Scots, who have been a bit under the cosh in this set piece, will be wondering how they'll come on against these new English front row men. Shelcock with a put in. Walker with a strike. They're going to try and go for the pushover or the penalty try. Here goes big Callum. Check for the line. Can he make it? He's been rolled over again. Great massive bodies. There's the ball, and it looks as though it's on the try line. The referee couldn't see it. England short again. That was Mercer that time. Prothero, out it comes to Marchand. Marchand looking for the offload. It's a big lad, Marchand, a 6-footer. Here goes Prothero again. He's all cool, calm and collected. And Mercer couldn't get it that time. There he is, big Zach Mercer, the 18-year-old from Bath. And the Scots have benefited from that floated pass there. I think it was by Matt Prothero.
Yeah, I think there's judged to be a knock-on from Scotland there, so it still will be a scrum to England if Andrew Davidson comes off. I think he's going to be replaced by Callum Hunter-Hill, ex-Stu pupil. He's played well tonight, Andrew Davidson. He's been carried hard in attack. He's tackled absolutely everything. He's been influential in the set piece, and we'll go back to the scrum. We're going to be here because Scotland took a real hiding, for use of a better phrase, in the first half at the scrum, but that one there, 5 metres out, they held firm. They dug the studs in the turf and they held England firm. They're going to have to do it again as England have the put in, but that shows the improvement from the first half to the second, and they defended their line well.
Callum Hunter-Hill is another 6'6" giant, a wee bit lighter than he's exactly the same weight as Davidson at 16.5 stones. Here's this England grunt. They're so strong up front, very effective. Out there by Shelcock. Oh, and Marchand knocks it on, and the Scots will benefit. Oh, dearie dear. And a wee friendly pat in the head there for Joe Marchand there from some of the Scots boys. I don't know whether they're saying hard luck or thank you.
I think I know what they'll be saying. It was it's frustrating for him, wasn't it? Because it was another great scrum from Scotland, and the timing of the pass from Matthew Prothero with the dummy lines inside and out. It was really well constructed, but unfortunately for Marchand, he couldn't hold on. He'd broken the line. He just couldn't hold on to the ball, and Scotland now have the put in. They need another big scrum here, and they need to clear the lines.
This lad Prothero has been able to engineer movement in the English three-quarter line, I think slightly better than his predecessor Joe Simmons.
I like him. I like Prothero. He's made 1 or 2 mistakes, but that's absolutely acceptable at any level, not least the under 20 level. You know, these guys are learning, but I like the way he approaches the game. He's comfortable in the ball, he passes well, kicks well, read the games well.
Scotland under the cosh again. There's a strike against the head. Shelcock out to Prothero. Prothero fancies himself this time, but he's well tackled, well knocked back, and that was Burnside who floored him. Here's Zach Mercer, this powerful lad. 2 Scotsmen get him, and then the ball goes loose, and this time it's the captain Scott Cummings at the bottom of it all. Fraser to Hastings. Bang. 30 metres downfield, not finding touch. Joe Marchant's got it. Watch this. Good tackling, well done there by Tom Galbraith, but the ball goes wide. Prothero again. Whoops. Out on that far side. That's Perkins. Here come England again, attack after attack, but they've foundered so far on very secure Scottish tackling. And look at that. 3 men knocking the English ball carrier back. Prothero is one of these lovely wee glidey Barry Jones sort of players. There's the big fella, Hugh Taylor. Shillcock again. Oh, and they've knocked on. That was Callum Hunter-Hill sorting it out for the Scots. Hugh Fraser. Downfield, has he got touch? The Scots have cleared that and cleared it very well indeed. That was very good play there by the Scots. Here come England, quick throw. Thorley. Not had much to do, Ollie Thorley. He's been on from the start. Shillcock again. Check along the line to Prothero. Here goes Thacker. Knocks off the first Scottish tackle. 2 men wide on the far side. This is Taylor Prell. And a chance here for Hastings. What can he do? The Scots are there. They know exactly how to deal with this. And there's Hugh Fraser scalping that ball. 50 metres plus. Chased. I think that was Darcy Graham there. Now then, this could be dangerous. There's a lovely elusive running. Marchant is not going to get away from Scott Cummings. Cummings, the captain, gets the England centre into touch.
Well, that's great, isn't it? From Scotland's point of view, your captain, he scored the try tonight, Scott Cummings. But there's some things you do on the field that show you're the leader, show what it means to the cause. And that's when you're a second row and you're faced with one of the key attackers of the opposition, and Joe Marchant in the wide channel, and you managed to drive him into touch. That was great play, great defence by Scott Cummings.
They've played half an hour here in this under-20s game tonight at Cumbernauld. The Scots have scored 4 cracking tries to lead by 24 points to 6. England's points coming from a couple of first-half penalties by Joe Simmons. We've got a wee pause here for injury, and I think it is to Tom Galbraith down in the touchline, who's been bleeding fairly profusely. Touch of the claret,
he's made so many big tackles in defence. He's a fantastic tackler, and he's marshalled that defence so well in the outside channels. Good low tackle, good hard low tackle. He's going to be replaced by number 22. That's George Taylor from Melrose. He's coming on, a similar player to Tom Galbraith. He's powerful, strong runner, good defender. But we keep going back to it, but the defence of the Scotland under-20s tonight has been utterly outstanding, and you add the 4 tries to that, they'll be very, very happy with what they've had so far.
I make it there are about less than 10 minutes now of this second half to go. And the Scots have this penalty which Blair Kinghorn is going to take. He really set the game on fire with his first try, the first try of the match in the first half. Away up the far touchline he scalped, and nobody could lay a hand on him. Interplay between him and Rory Hutchinson, and then Kinghorn over for the try. That's one they'll speak about for a long time, but there's a good line out there by England. Very quickly through is Kerr, Jake Kerr, the Boroughmuir player for the Scots, the hooker, number 2. Shillcock gets it out. No way through as Mercer comes to help for England. There he is, number 20. Shillcock again to Prothero, out to Marchant. That looked like Taylor Prell out on that far side. It's all a bit lateral for England, and it's foundering on this very, very strong Scottish tackling. Prothero, one of these times he's going to find a gap. He's almost through.
You see the Scottish defence on their feet quickly. They're not committing to the breakdown. They're getting up into defensive positions again. They're quite narrow, but you can see they're all on their feet, prepared to make a tackle. There's nowhere for England to go.
And such is the pressure and the intensity of the Scottish tackling that England's passing has started to become just a little bit wayward now. There was a pass right away behind big Joe Marchant's inside shoulder. No chance of the centre taking that one.
Yeah, fatigue plays its part as well, isn't it? This has been played at an incredible rate. I think Matt Smith, as you see, just disappearing off your screen. I think he's going to be replaced. He had a huge game tonight. You see him stretching his calf's probably full of cramp, and that could be a result of the intensity of this game. But we keep saying it, these young lads are throwing up something that's so close to full international rugby. It's great to watch.
Scots full of vim. There's another wild pass you see away. Charlie Thacker had to stop and turn, but he's a wee ball of fire, this lad. Look at him, strong legs, wee chunky fella. Out to Prothero, he's the opposite. Slim and wafts his way through gaps. Mercer, all muscle, powerful player. Oh, and you see it's just beginning to disintegrate. Look at the tackling. They're like a pack of wolves there, the Scots now, hunting like a pack. This is more like it for England. Here goes Prothero. Hastings tackle floored him. Who's going to get this guy? This is danger. This is great run. Oh, what a tip tackle there. That looked as though Ollie Thorley was going to be through. I think it was Thorley making the break. Here they go again, building up this stand side. Joe Marchant, big boy, but lovely light footwork. And again, the tackles go in. Callum Sheldon for Scotland that time. Number 3 has been a tireless workhorse for the Scots tonight. Thacker infield, it goes to Prothero. In the Scots 22 now. Thacker again. Mercer likes to lurk away out wide on that right hand side.
Yeah, England are throwing everything at it. There's another turnover here for the Scottish guys. Have won another turnover attempts. Look at the body language of the English players. They've given everything in that last phase of play, and yet still the Scots guys continue to knock them down. The English attack has been better towards the end of the game because they look as if they've thrown the shackles off a little bit. They've attacked, down the short side, or wide in the outside channel. So they've been a better balance. But no matter where they've gone, the Scottish defence has met them, knocked them down, and continually won those turnovers.
Chris, just to put this match into context, Scotland have never beaten England at under 20s level. They've played 11 times and England have won all 11 games. So here we are, tonight with the Scots leading by 24 points to 6. We're into the last few minutes of this second half, and this is going to be history.
It is. It's also Scotland won last year. They won their 3 home matches in the under 20 championship, and they've never won 4 in a row at this level. So that'll be the first as well. The English under 20s set the benchmark really for World Rugby. They're continually challenging at the Junior World Cup and the finals. They've won it on a couple of previous occasions. They get to the final consistently. They've been champions of this championship, the Six Nations Championship, for 4 times in the last 5 years. So that underlines how good a performance this has been from the Scottish guys, what they're up against. And they've been outstanding in attack, they've been outstanding in defence, and it looks like they're going to get a famous victory.
Lewis Anderson has come on as replacement hooker for the Scots. The Scots got the strike, but the ball ricocheted back to England. There's that oomph from the English pack. Shellcock goes, looking for support. He's almost through himself. Great mass of white-shirted players. Hastings saw that one and read it well for Scotland. Up very quickly. First tackle in. Mercer again. There he goes. Another thumping tackle by the Scots. Prothero to Thacker. Scott Cummings goes in for Scotland. Here's this big lad Mercer. He does like to bludgeon his way through, but to be honest, he's not asking an awful lot of questions that the Scots can't answer. Look at that. That was Jamie Ritchie picking up and going. Hastings out of danger. Long kick. Has it found touch? Not yet. It's not out of danger. Here goes Prell, Taylor Prell. Tackle by Hutchinson. In the Scots 10. Prothero again, the mastermind. And then this big lad, Kitchener. Well, England needed Kitchener, but Kitchener was bundled into touch there.
Yeah, it's frustration from England now, isn't it? Because whatever they throw at Scotland, the defence is just coming out on top. Far more possession for England towards the end of this second half, but I can't underestimate how strong the Scottish defence has been. I see Andrew Braze, referee, having a word with Big Hugh Taylor there, telling him to calm down. All these players will have to do it again next week, where Scotland take on Wales, and England will be in Italy, I think.
This has been a huge performance by the Scots tonight. I mean, I know we're all Scots and so on and so forth, but you have to say that they have been resilient in the face of a very powerful English pack. They were hammered in the set scrum in the first hour of this game, but you look at the scoreline and there we are, 24 points to 6, and it's 4 tries to 0. Here goes Sam Aspland-Robinson. Caught just short of halfway there by Tom Galbraith, who's been an absolute hero in midfield. Blood streaming from his nose and a hirpling there with a bit of a leg knock. Joe Marchant trying to break the deadlock, but he can't. Billy Keast takes it on. Young lad from Exeter in his first under-20s cap, playing prop. Callum Chick again. He's been full of running. There's this big laddie, Hugh Taylor. And then Aspland-Robinson again. In go the back row for the Scots. Have they turned this one over? Yes, they have.
And Jamie Ritchie again, isn't it, Bill?
Jamie Ritchie again. Look at him. Oh, and he blows his opposite number. A wee affectionate.
I'm not so keen on that part of the game, to be honest. But no. He's been again another quality player who's got experience. And the Pro 12 last weekend with Edinburgh, as is this man with his hand on the ball, Blair Kinghorn. And we spoke about half time about experience and cool decisions under pressure. And Scotland have shown that with all the guts, with all the desire in their defence. They've also been clinical and winning penalties like that at the coal face with Jamie Ritchie and Matt Smith. A really good performance all round.
And they've been very sensible. They've played the ball down towards the opposition half of the field as well. And it's
Callum
Sheldon coming off there.
As the front row union, the first to greet him was his loose head, Murray McCallum.
Oh, I'll tell you what, these guys have put in some shift. So that's Adam Nicholl on now. And George Thornton. And there goes Scotland, doing to England what England did to Scotland in the first half. And right at the back of it, big Callum Hunter-Hill. New scrum half is on, Charlie Shiel, whose dad played for Scotland. You may remember Graham Shiel, 28 caps back in the 80s. There's wee Charlie again up the narrows. Oh, this pass. Well, I said to his dad earlier on tonight, I said, I hope his handling's better than yours, Graham. But we'll reserve judgment on that so far.
He's a clever player, Charlie. Scrum half, he plays at the Curry Club. Played a lot of senior rugby this season, and he understands the game. He runs the game really well. One of the key components of a scrum half. Seeing a nasty injury, I think, here to one of the Scottish lads, maybe Jamie Ritchie. I'm not entirely sure, but
we are in the dying seconds of this game now, Chris, aren't we? I mean, not long to go to full time.
Yeah, and again we have to, state how good a performance has been from the Scottish lads. England have had a dominant scrum, although the Scottish scrums improved, through the second half, but they can be proud of how they've scrummaged. I think the English guys will be frustrated with the way they've played, in the sense that they've not been allowed to play the way they'd like to because of how good the Scottish defence has been. But the Scottish lads, well, they've won the game. England certainly haven't lost it. You see the guys still working at what they can do, but this has been a Scottish win rather than an English loss, and it should be remembered as that, because England have played well. They've got a lot of good players. 6 of them came up from the under-18s last year. They're lacking a little bit of experience, but Scotland have been outstanding.
I think you've summed that up just absolutely right. It's been a Scottish win, and it's been a very positive Scottish win, and I don't suppose nobody could argue with 4 tries to 0. Here's the throw in then, and this is Jack Singleton who's throwing in. Oh, you see it kind of slopping out. It's not their first choice players. Shiel was almost through there, snapping like a wee terrier at the base of this Scottish pack. Knocked on by Scotland, the referee says England have the scrummage. And you mentioned body language. You see the Scots just, high-fiving each other and patting each other and knowing they've got this game sewn up.
Yeah, it's so important, body language, and it carries a lot of value in how you're perceived by spectators, how you're perceived by the opposition. But whatever you do it together, and Scotland have had that togetherness in their body language and in their performance tonight that England simply haven't been able to match.
So Shilcock with the put in, Singleton with the strike. Here's big Callum Chick again. He's been never ending in his effort for England tonight, and Prothero trying to run out of trouble. almost doing it, but there are just too many blue shirts there. I think that was Adam Hastings coming up on Hugh Taylor. There's Hastings, number 10 for Scotland, just running out a shot to the left. He's had a very composed game. Look at the speed of engagement. There he is again, coming up, you see, on Marchant. Now, he didn't put the tackle in, but he made him change his mind. Prothero. England penned back. Scotland reading the situation. There's Mercer with a great offload to Thacker. Shield goes in with a tackle. So too does Hutchinson. Scotland stretch across. Prothero grabbed there, and that's Thornton this time, the prop forward who's come on. No number on his jumper. Mercer again trying to ride the tackle. Hauled down by Callum Hunter-Hill.
Again, the defence holds firm, doesn't it? You know, England are playing out from their own goal line here, but the defensive organisation of Scotland and the tackling and the work at the breakdown is simply outstanding. Jamie Ritchie again making a tackle, getting to his feet as England probe for an opening, for some space to attack.
Ben Robbins just stands and waits for Scotland there, waiting for his opportunity. Shelcock along the line. There's a wee grubber kick into space. Shield goes back. Oh, he's going to have to be quick. Gets it away. Cannily there. There goes big Blair Kinghorn. That siege gun kick of his. Well, he's overdone this one. But at the end, it doesn't matter, because that's the final whistle here at Broadwood. Chris, this has been a tremendous win for the Scots. 4-0, and historic in the sense that it's the first time they've beaten England at under 20s level.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the celebrations. The lads deserve that. Look at them all in the field congratulate each other. 4-0. That's an important stat. No tries for England, only 6 points. Scotland, well, they were simply outstanding. Kinghorn and McCallum with tries in the first half. Cummings quickly followed by Smith in the second half. But it was the control they had from their defence that was impressive for me. England threw everything at them, some powerful ball carriers, but they kept coming straight in towards Scotland. Scotland made the tackles. They were hard over ball. And Scotland can be really, really proud of what they've achieved tonight. Well coached, well played, good discipline, and a fantastic start to their Six Nations campaign.
Well, a big thank you to all of those of you who have joined us in Scottish Rugby Television tonight. There's that scoreline which will gladden Scottish hearts, and I dare say make one or two folk hope it's a precursor to what's going to come tomorrow at Murrayfield. Scotland the winners here by 24 points to 6.